single shot. Because of that, that sprint plan, based on that particular sprint plan, need to come up with how we need to release that 100 user stories. Is that 100 user stories need to release in one time, or first 10 user stories, after that 20, after that 5? How exactly the release need to be done? How exactly that release need to be done? That sprint release is also taken care by Scrum Master. Because of that, Scrum Master will be playing a very important job role as part of Agile. He will take care about all these things. Till now, did we mention any developer here? Any tester? No, still you are not came into the picture. All these activities taken care by the respective Scrum Master and Project Manager. Okay. Now, we got list of user stories. Sprint plan is done. Based on the sprint plan, sprint release. That sprint release taking care by that sprint release going with sprint 1. After that, it will go with sprint 2. That is nothing but as simple as your build 1, build 2. According to waterfall model, V model terminology, build 1, build 2, build 3. The same thing when it's come to Agile, what you are considering? Sprint 1, sprint 2. So what is the meaning of build? Meaning of the build. What is it? Executable file or URL. Same concept applied here. Just because of Agile, rather than build, what is the terminology? Sprint. Okay. Now, say that. According to Agile, see the concept. All the online students also, please take care about the concept. As part of sprint, according to Agile, any sprint, it can be sprint 1, sprint 2, sprint 3, sprint 10, sprint 100, sprint 500. Any sprint working with duration of 2 weeks. According to the process of Agile, any sprint, it will go with duration of 2 weeks. By default, 90% of the time, any project implemented in Agile process, it will go with the sprint duration of 2 weeks. In that 2 weeks, what need to be done? In that 2 weeks, what need to be done? In that 2 weeks, developer and tester, they'll take care about in understanding requirement. In that 2 weeks, developer and tester will understand requirement. After that, they'll take care about development team coding, and then the testing team testing, and then it will go with live environment or production. See the understanding. See the understanding. Sprint 1. What is the duration? 2 weeks. In that 2 weeks, what are the steps? Requirements understanding, coding, testing, live environment or production. See the understanding now. According to Agile, we are not waiting till the time of all the sprints to be completed. We are not waiting till the time of all the sprints has to be completed. That sprint 1 completed, it will go with live environment and production. By that, within 2 weeks, the client is able, to see how his project displaying in the live environment. That is what your advantage. Remember V model. Second drawback. V model, second drawback. Client need to wait for more time to see project visibility in live environment. It got overcome in Agile. While working Agile, within 2 weeks, he was able to see that live. But that live, not like the original live environment, similar to that. In case of moved into the live environment, how his project will be working, the same thing will be given. By that, the client can easily look into that, how it will be done. In case of any modification, immediately it will be suggesting that what are all that particular modifications need to be done here. I mean, while working Agile, another advantage, requirement changes will be accepted. What is it? Requirement changes will be accepted because you got a duration. What is the duration you got? 2 weeks. In that 2 weeks, requirements are done, coding is done, testing is done, live environment is done. Client will see that everything perfectly done. Okay. Otherwise, immediately he'll suggest that what are the modification, that changes will be accepted, and then it will take care about that particular next sprint. So as an example, this particular sprint 1, it may decided like 10 user stories. How many user stories? 10. Totally how many user stories we mentioned? 100. In a 100 for sprint 1, how many user stories? How many user stories? 10. Remaining 90. In that 90, sprint 2. Assume that. How many user stories? How many user stories? 5. So that means in each and every particular sprint, how many user stories need to be developed, need to be tested, that plan will be provided. That is the reason first he got list of user stories. After that, what he got? Sprint plan. So that plan will be there in each and every sprint. How many user stories need to be done? That plan will be provided. So that is what certain process. This is like in a process. Because of that, rather than calling as a model, what you are saying that? Agile process. We can say that Agile model also, but rather than that, we used to be mentioning the Agile process here. Now sprint 2, how many user stories? 5. What will be the sprint duration? Sprint duration 2 weeks. Sprint duration will be 2 weeks. Any sprint, any sprint by default, you will be working with 2 weeks. A very rare cases, 90% of the time, 90% of the time, you will go with the sprint duration of 2 weeks only. If required, there is a chance of 4 weeks or maximum of 6 weeks. By default, how many weeks? 2 weeks. Any interviewer is asking, your answer should be 2 weeks. By default, you can say that 2 weeks, you're done with the sprint of 2 weeks of the sprint. But if required, a very rare cases, it can go with 4 weeks of the sprint, or it will be taking with 6 weeks of the sprint. Again, the sprint to the 2 weeks. What need to be done? Requirements, understanding. After that, taking with coding. After that, testing. After that, live environment or production. That means after completion of sprint 2, that futures also will be moved into live environment. So by that, the client visibility. So the client interaction, client visibility will be there in Agile. So while working with Agile, more client visibility will be there. After completion of each and every sprint, the client will look into that, how exactly his project is working. By that, it can understand that how exactly all that particular project has been done. This is how it will complete with sprint 2. After that, again it will take care about in having sprint 3, sprint 4, sprint 5 till the time of 100. Till the time of according to this 100 user stories, till the time of completion of that 100 user stories, that sprints will be continued. How many sprint is depends on it. It's not like any rule, any condition. 100 user stories means only 5 sprints. 200 user stories means taking with 10 sprint. No condition of that. It's totally depends on that particular project. Based on that project, based on that particular client, it will take care about how many sprints need to be released. So this is what exactly considering the terms, the terminologies of Agile. Say that. First we got Agile process, or we can call as model. What is the main terminology? Scrum Master. What is the job role of Scrum Master? Communicating with client and gathering requirement. That requirements discussing with project manager. So Scrum Master, project manager will be working together, and then they will come up with in providing product backlog. Meaning of product backlog, high level requirement. From there what you will get? Epic. Meaning of epic, requirements. From there what you will get? User story. So that particular user story, low level requirement. From there what you will get? Sprint plan. From the sprint plan, sprint release. From the sprint release, it will go with sprint 1, sprint 2, that it will continue. Any sprint, how many weeks of duration? How many weeks of duration? 2 weeks. In that 2 weeks, what are the steps need to be done? Requirements understanding, coding, testing, live environment or production. This is what the terminology is. Okay. Along with this, another most important things need to be get understood. What is it? What is that? Meetings. If we take V model, first drawback. V model, first drawback. V model, first drawback. Dependency on documentation. According to the V model, it is mandatory of that requirement documents. That means if you consider that particular V model, if you consider waterfall model or taking with V model, dependency on documentation, as simple as waterfall model, V model, more preference for documentation, more preference for documentation, and less preference for meetings. In case of waterfall V model, in case of waterfall and V model, more preference for documentation and less preference for meetings. In case of Agile, more preference for meetings, less preference for documentation. In Agile, more preference for meetings and less preference for documentation. So I mean, while working Agile, almost every day there is a chance you need to attend the meeting. Maximum every day you need to get attend with the meeting. But waterfall and V model, not like every day. Hardly you may attend 1 or 2 meetings in a month. Sometimes just only 1 meeting in a month here. But Agile, very regularly, almost every day, you need to take care about in attending with meetings. What kind of meetings? Girlfriend meeting, huh? Then meetings means in Agile, what kind of meetings? That meetings are saying that the one stand up meeting. What is it? Stand up meeting. The one stand up meeting. Another one status meeting. So one you will be taking with stand up meeting, another one status meeting, and another one taking with scrum meeting. So this is how you will take care about different type of meetings will be there. So mainly stand up meeting, status meeting, scrum meeting. Apart from this, project related meetings, test lead meetings, manager level, client meetings, lot of things will be there. Lot of meetings you need to take care about in attending as part of Agile. But mainly we may consider three things here. One will be taking with stand-up meeting and taking with status meeting and taking with scrum meeting. So what exactly mean by this? What exactly mean by this? Let's understand one by one. What is the first one? First one, stand-up meeting. Meaning of that. Uh-huh. Stand up and do the meeting. Uh-huh. Right. See that. So what exactly mean by the stand-up meeting? As simple as the meaning of stand-up meeting. A small duration of the meeting. What is it? A small duration of the meeting. I mean, maximum of 10 to 15 minutes, not like half an hour, 1 hour, 2 hours. That stand-up meeting, maximum of 10 to 15 minutes. We can say that a small duration of the meeting, a small duration of the meeting to discuss plan for the day, to discuss plan for the day. Meaning of that? Uh-huh. Meaning of that? Plan for the day means? Uh-huh. What exactly you have to do in the office? Is that the whole day you need to sleep in the office or only afternoon you have to sleep it? That is what? Uh-huh. So in the office, without sleeping, what are the activities you have to do it? Is that you have to work on manual testing related activities or automation activities, or in case of manual, in that what are the activities? On that particular day, on that particular day, what exactly you have to do? You have to work that discussion provided as part of stand-up meeting. Because of that, always stand-up meetings are conducted in morning hours. When it will conducted? Morning hours. You may cross check any of your friends working in the real time. Most of the time, those people will be in a very urgent in reaching the office in case of Agile, because maximum of the time, according to that Agile, their day will start with the stand-up meeting, because first they will have stand-up meeting. In that particular stand-up meeting, they will take care about in discussion of plan for the day. Along with that, along with that, they will take care about issues. They'll have a discussion related to issues. See the understanding? See the understanding. The meaning of stand-up meeting. The meaning of stand-up meeting. A small duration of the meeting to discuss plan for the day and issues. Issues related to? Hostel. Hostel is a very big issue, sir. Issues related to project. In that project, in case if we have any issues related to that requirement or not clear about the requirement, whatever it can be, maximum of issues will be solved in the stand-up meeting, because in the stand-up meeting you will get manager and will get lead, development lead and test lead, and then you will have development team, and then you will be having testing team. As all the people are available, in case of any issues are there, if you come up that issues, there only discussion will be done. Maximum they'll try to come up with the solution. So that is what you will have an advantage while working this particular respective Agile. So if I'm taking this particular respective Agile, we got stand-up meeting. That particular stand-up meeting, we can say that a small duration of the meeting to have discussion of plan for the day and issues related to project. Okay. In the same way, I got another meeting. What is it? What is that? Status. Meaning of status? What is the status? In morning, what I got? In the morning, what I got? Plan for the day. Morning, I got the plan. What exactly the task you have to do it, what exactly the work need to be done. By the evening, you need to be get provide progress of the work. By the evening, you need to be get provide what exactly the status of that particular work. Nothing but progress of that particular work. Because of that stand-up meeting conducted on morning hours, status meeting conducted in evening hours, both the meetings conducted on daily basis. What is it? Daily basis. Stand-up meeting, morning hours. Status meeting, evening hours. Both the meetings on daily basis. Okay. So we got stand-up meeting and we got status meeting. Meaning of the status meeting? Discussion of progress of the work. So what exactly progress of that particular work? Is that the whole work completed according to the plan, or while doing that particular work, is there any issues I got related to that particular work? That is what taking with discussion. So that stand-up meeting and taking with status meeting. In the same way, what you got? What you got? Scrum meeting. The meaning of Scrum meeting. The meaning of Scrum meeting. Meeting conducted by Scrum Master. What is it? Meeting conducted by Scrum Master to have discussion of, to have discussion of sprint release, to have discussion of sprint release, or taking with user stories. Like the Scrum Master will take care about the discussion. What exactly the release need to be done? According to that release, how many user stories need to be done? What are that user stories? All that particular discussion taken care by Scrum Master, that will be taking with Scrum meeting. So if I'm taking Scrum meeting, what is the meaning of Scrum meeting? Meetings conducted by Scrum Master to have discussion of sprint release and user stories related to that sprint. What are the release has been planned and what exactly the user stories need to be done. So that is what you will be taking with Scrum meeting. The one you got stand-up meeting, status meeting, and taking with Scrum meeting. Stand-up meetings conducted on morning hours. Status meeting conducted on evening hours. Both the meeting conducted on daily basis. Scrum meeting conducted on when it will conducted? Morning or evening or afternoon? Weekends. Weekends different meeting will be there. So that particular Scrum meeting, availability of Scrum Master. What is it? Availability of Scrum Master. Based on his availability, he will be coming up with in conducting that particular Scrum meeting. So that is what stand-up meeting, status meeting, and taking with Scrum meeting. Okay. Apart from this, the last point need to be understood. Taking care about related to working hours. Related to working hours. I mean, the meaning of that statement. In general, if you take any IT company, what will be the working hours? How many hours? Oh, 8 hours, nine hand off. Depends on the company. In simple, consider that 8 hours. The project implemented in waterfall model or taking with V model. If I'm taking with the project implemented in waterfall model and taking with V model, taking care about 8 hours, that 8 hours plan for 8 hours plan for testing. That 8 hours has been planned for testing. Okay. Then taking with Agile. Taking with Agile. When you work with Agile, that particular 8 hours, divided into 6 plus 2. 6 plus 2? That 6 hours plan for 6 hours plan for testing. 2 hours break. The 2 hours not break. That is meetings here. I mean, in case of the project has been implementing in Agile, we don't have any option to go with 8 hours for doing testing activities, because as part of Agile, almost every day you need to be get attend with the meetings, like morning that stand-up meeting, evening status meeting, at least minimum, if we consider like 15 minutes, then only half an hour will be done. Along with that, project related team meetings, client meetings. So because of that, the whole 8 hours we cannot plan for testing activities. Because of that reason, according to the project, as part of that project, they will come up with the plan of as part of 8 hours, that 6 hours, it can go with testing activity, and remaining 2 hours, it will go with meetings here. So this is what you need to be get take care about with the respective of agile, and taking care about all that particular respective agile terminologies. Not like only these things, still a lot of other things are there, but we are not worried about into that level as a fresher level, or taking with the 3 to 4 years of experience. You need to be get comfortable in taking care about these particular terminologies. As part of interview, you need to be get comfortable in explaining all these particular terminologies. So take care about it. This is what the concepts of our very first concept, why testing required. After that, tester roles and responsibilities. And then SDLC, real time process implementation. And then SDLC model. All these things, real-time perspective, interview point of view, the very most important at any cost, you have to take care about these four concepts. First concept, why testing required. After that, roles and responsibilities. After that, SDLC, real-time process implementation. After that, SDLC model. So please take care about all